your own contracts are good, but
Yeah.
I don't have enough of them.
Good evening. I'll now call the City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting for Tuesday, December the 15th to order. Roll call.
Gallops.
Here.
Holst.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Madsen.
Here.
Schoblum. Mayor Robinson.
Here. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the last city council meeting for 2015. Hard to believe it's already another year gone. At this time, the chair will take a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion by Merle, a second by Rod. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. This time, we'll move on to item 5 this evening, public input. Citizens may speak to items not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and your address for the minutes, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. So is there anyone wishing to address the council under public input? Seeing as there is no one, we will move on to council business, which is item 6, which is Resolution 2170, appointing a council member to fill the vacancy left by Bill Duncan when he left. It's been a while, been trying to search for the right person. Had some people apply. Once I reviewed things and talked to more people throughout the city, I've decided to appoint Lynn Berg to fill Bill's seat for the coming year. Lynn brings about 14 years' worth of experience. For some of you know, she is a past mayor of Cannon Falls, worked with the council, so she'll bring a lot of experience to the council. So I'm glad that she has decided that she would come help us out for the next year, and I told her, that we got a good council up here, and I think she'll be a good fit to help us move forward and keep the city moving forward. So at this time, unless anybody else has anything, I would like a motion to approve the resolution to have Lindbergh fill the council vacancy effective immediately.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Merle, a second by Rod. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. So at this time, we will have our city administrator, Ron Johnson, swear her in to the council.
This time I'll give Lynn Berg the oath of office, and if I will speak, and if you want to repeat after me, raise your
Okay.
right hand. I
I, Lindberg,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of the office of council member
discharge the duties of the office of the council member
of the city of Cannon Falls,
of the city of Cannon Falls,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
to the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you, and next.
I got it.
Welcome. Now it's time to get to work.
Yeah.
You may take your seat.
Okay.
Myself.
Too many moving parts. Sorry. This place look familiar?
Yeah. In here.
All right. Okay, well, welcome, Lynn. For anybody else out there, as Lynn will be serving for 1 year, if next year there'll be council seats up for election, so If you're willing to run and want to be a part of changing Cannon Falls and moving and growing in Cannon Falls, we welcome you to run for office. So at this time, we'll move on to item 7, which is the consent agenda. Items on this area of the agenda may be adopted, or they may be removed and placed on the business area of the agenda for discussion purposes before approving. For those at home, I'll read the consent agenda. Item A is adjusting correct claims for the accounting period ending December the 11th, 2015. Item B are the meeting minutes for the December 1st, 2015 City Council meeting. Item C is a cost of living adjustment for non-union employees. Item D, Resolution 2171, accepting monetary donations in memory of Esther Schlotsky to the library.
Mayor Robinson?
And there is a $50 addition to that was received today for that donation, an extra $50. Item 2172, accepting a monetary donation in the memory of Colette Spooner for the library. Item F, Resolution 2173, approve a conditional use permit for a Minnesota Woodcraft property. Item G, Resolution 2174, approving special assessment agreements and adopting special assessment role for the Union Court lift station improvements. Item H, the Fuel Master replacement and rolling gates. And item I, approve raise in pension for Fire Department Relief Association. Are there any items anybody wishes to bring down under council business?
H.
Okay, item H will become item 8A. Presentations will become item 9 this evening. Reports item 10, and adjournment item 11. Are there any other items anybody wishes to bring down? If not, the chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item H, the fuel master replacement and rolling gates, which was pulled to business.
So moved. I will second it.
Motion by Merle, second by Rod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Moves us on to council business, which item 8A will be the fuel master replacement and rolling gates. And I think Jay and I talked just before the meeting, just for a minute on this, wanted to get a little more input on the system, the tanks, and things of that nature, just to see if you could give us a little update on what size tanks, how this is going to work, and things of that nature, if you would, Tom.
Well, we currently have an outdated fuel master, which is the brains of the operation that sends reports to the city. So nothing will change. The only thing that will change is the guts of the programmable gear. We have 500-gallon gas and 1,000-gallon diesel tanks. That we currently purchase in bulk. And I don't know the exact age of the original Fuel Master, but parts are no longer available. So we have to make this upgrade before it forces us in the middle of winter to do an upgrade with no parts available. So currently, Police Department and Public Works use the bulk tanks.
Will the 500 gallons, will that be sufficient enough? Or do we need to get a bigger tank where we can get a better price?
No,
Or
I
do
don't.
you
I
think
don't.
we will, could?
No, we've gotten by just fine. Sometimes we fill once a month. Sometimes we fill twice a month. So
Even with the ambulance and everybody else using it?
yeah, they'll fill within a couple hours. We'll call and they're there. So I don't see that. But we can monitor that and make sure that there's enough. But I don't see a problem.
Is there any check on quantity discount for pricing, or if you had a bigger tank, or?
That I couldn't tell you. The current discount we get is we don't pay federal tax, and it's a dyed fuel. So
Right.
that's about 20 or 18.6 cents per gallon.
Mm-hmm.
We save on that, but that's something I could look into.
We also,
It's kind of dicey when you start speculating on
Right.
when you buy too
Well, yeah.
high and
Yeah.
we also get the bulk pricing compared to the, that retail at the pump.
Well, yeah,
There's
I
a-
know, yeah, I
there's
understand that,
discounting
but,
that way.
but still, if you get, even if you buy like a transport load, you're gonna get considerably less discount too besides, so.
The, gallon size of the tanks, based on our usage right now, as Tom alluded to, we're, filling it probably 1.5 to 2 times a month. Our primary concern was getting so much in there that we're not rolling that over.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you wanna keep,
And if, if there's more usage on it, we'll be able to monitor and.
well, that was the other
that would be
question,
the-
is how much, had no idea what usage was, so that's,
At some point, the diesel tank is newer and will last much longer because it's a concrete tank. The gas is a steel tank. I mean, at some point, that's going to reach where it's just going to have to be replaced.
Yeah.
And that would probably be a logical time then to look at, should we be putting in the larger size, and we're a much better idea of volume of usage and stuff. Again, bearing in mind, we want to keep it rolling through there enough that it's always a fresh.
right. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, the chair will take a motion to approve the project to upgrade the Fuel Master system and install the rolling gates with remote controllers as recommended by the Public Works Commission.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Merle, second by Rod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, that moves us on this evening to presentations. And the first one will be from our fire chief, Mr. Anderson.
Hey, Ron asked us basically to come and give a little overview of what the fire department's all about, and I think every department's doing it. Puts me a little bit out of my comfort zone, but that's okay. It's good to be outside the box for a while. And anyhow, the Cannon Falls Fire Department consists of 30 volunteer members. The 30 members consist of one chief, myself, 2 assistant chiefs. Jay Cytrasic is the first assistant chief, and Mike Eltoff is the second assistant chief. There's 3 captains currently that go underneath us, basically. Steve Sullivan is one of them. Jeff Taube is another one who is actually retiring in January, so we'll have to replace him the first of the year. And Kevin Robinson was the other one who left us in the first part of December. So we'll have 2 new captains we're gonna have to put on. Our department is fairly young right now. We have 30 members. There's actually 15 members that have 10 years plus service on the department, and there's 15 members that have 10 years or less on the department. So we're a pretty young department, but we have a lot of good, energetic guys that do a good job for us. We also have 2 training officers who are Bryce Miller and Scott Miller, do an excellent job of training for us. They line up and schedule all the training throughout the years with the different companies and everything that we have come in and do stuff for us. And then we consist of 1 safety officer, which is Ken Walls, who does an overview of the fire scenes or any scene that we're on and make sure we're in check with the safety and make sure the guys are doing fine. In January, Chief John Miller stepped down as fire chief after 15 years of being the head of the department. We went out and did some pictures here in the fall, and we just did a shaking of the hands of changing the guard, basically. So. Our current fleet of trucks, it's kind of hard to see them all there, but they're all there. Consists of 1 ladder truck, which we purchased a couple of years ago, which has been of great service to us. We get a lot of these taller buildings and stuff in town. It's hard to reach the tops. Now we can get over the top of them and spray down in them and control the fire a lot better. Or if there's a rescue situation on the 4th floor or something, we can put the ladder up to a window and rescue them. So we have 2 pumpers. The pumpers basically are the ones that we hook up to the hydrants and stuff that pump the water through the hoses and to the fire. They carry 800 gallons apiece on them as far as water, but we normally have another water supply coming. We can get the initial attack going and we get more water to them. We have 1 heavy rescue rig that we carry all of our tools for car accidents and things like that. Fires, it's got the CBAs and stuff in them, so it carries all of our equipment to fires and rescues. We will have one grass rig, which is a pickup way on the end down there that just carries water and certain supplies for grass fires, so we can get out into the areas if it's wet or whatever, or it's out in the rough terrain, we can drive the pickup out to it. We have one pickup on the end down there that we use for fires, and actually it's a rescue vehicle, so if we're going on a medical call or whatever, we don't have to bring the big rescue rig with. We have this equipped with the ED and oxygen and stuff like that, so we can use it for that. We also do have tanks that we can put behind it to do grass fires and everything else with it, so we made it a multi-use vehicle. We do have an ATV Ranger also, that's not in the picture, but we use that for rough terrain rescues if we need, bike trails and stuff. It's easier to go down the trail with these all-terrain vehicles than it is with a big rig. And we'll carry a backboard with us and oxygen and stuff and transport the patient back to where it needs to be to the closest area. And we also have a rescue boat. It was purchased a few years ago. It's a shallow bottom boat, so if we get into some situations where there's not a lot of water, it still goes over it and does a good job. We basically got it for the river rescue or Lake Billsby rescue, which it has been used a few times. Maintenance on our vehicles is done. We have yearly DOT inspections done. Now, we're not required to have DOT inspections on them, but we do it anyhow just because it ensures that the equipment is up to par and safe for the fire and rescue scenes. We're just kind of a step ahead of the game. It's probably coming that everything's going to have to be DOT'd, so we've done it for the last 4 or 5 years. We serve quite a territory out there. We service the city of Cannon Falls, the townships of Cannon Falls, part of Leon, Douglas, Randolph, Stanton, Warshaw, and Hampton townships. We cover the Vasey city limits, and we actually cover the village of New Trier. Mutual aid, we have negotiated with area departments that if we have a big house fire going here, we do not have enough personnel, enough water or whatever, we would contact the closest facility that has the equipment to come and help us. So we do have mutual aid agreements with Randolph, Hampton, Maysfield, Wanamingo, Nearstrand, Kenyon, Hastings, and Red Wing. And we also would help them if they have a large structure or whatever is going on, or if they got a structure fire going and all of a sudden they get another one going, we'll go and help them do it also. And with the ladder truck and stuff, we do have a good piece of equipment for others to mutual aid with. Our call volume last year, we had 33 fire calls last year. Now, fire prevention has really been helping, so our fire numbers have gone down, so it's good that we go out and do the fire prevention with the kids and stuff, because it really does help. What fires actually entail is like a regular building fire, cooking fires, chimney or chimney fires basically, passenger vehicle fires, water vehicle fires, which we've had 2 this year actually. You wouldn't think you'd have to have fire protection on the water, but you do. There's plenty of water there, but you still have fire extinguishers and stuff and need to tow them back in too. Brush fires, grass fires, equipment fires. Somebody has a piece of equipment out on the ground doing construction work or something catches on fire. And cornfield fires and other fires like that associated with dry vegetation and stuff. We had 200 rescue calls last year. Now the rescue calls entail going along with the ambulance and stuff to medical calls, motor vehicle accidents with injuries, motor vehicle pedestrian accidents, motor vehicle accident with no injuries, search for pedestrians, and search for pedestrians in water. We had 23 hazardous conditions which did not result in fire, and they classify as a gas leak, natural gas, or LP, carbon monoxide, electrical wiring equipment problems, power lines down, arcing or shorting of electrical equipment, vehicle accident with general cleanup or fuel spill or something would happen out on the roadway or something would, help clean it up and stuff. Service calls are basically what it says they're, it's to remove basically a smoke or odor or something that's happened. Say a fire happened and they had it out before we got there, we just respond and help take the odors or smoke out of the house. And it's assisted with the police on a call or civil matter or something, or unauthorized burning. Good intent calls are basically dispatch and canceled en route. Passerby or sees a fire or something, they'll call it in, but it's got a burning permit or something, they'll cancel us en route. Then, of course, we have the false alarms where the cell phone, again, calls something in, but nobody's really having a fire. It's maybe a wood-burning stove or something outside that's exhausting a lot of smoke, and they cancel us. Through the years, we do a lot of community events. We go and tour a lot of businesses just in case there's a fire or a situation, medical or whatever, in these businesses. We have an idea what's in the buildings that we need to contend with. And plus, we can see the structure of the building so we know how it's designed and stuff. So we do quite a few tours. They may have some hazardous materials and stuff in there. They pointed out where they're at and everything else. So if there is a fire, we know how to contain it and stuff. We do fire hall tours for the preschool children. They'll bring preschool children down, they'll go through the trucks, put the hats on, the gear on, and whatever else they can, just to kind of make them feel if they've had a fire or something in their house, that they don't have to be afraid of us. We're coming to help them. So that's really helped a lot. They aren't afraid of us as much as they used to be. Of course, the 4th of July parade, when we can shine the trucks all up and go in and toot the horns and the sirens a little bit and have a good time. Show off our fleet of trucks. Fairground events, we go over and do like the tractor pulls in case there's an event with fire or medical. We'll do the derbies, and we also go over with a fire protection on the 4th of July fireworks in case one of the fields and stuff which has happened, the DNR land around it has started on fire and stuff, so we man that too. Wanamingo Parade is actually the same day as the 4th of July parade, a couple hours afterwards, or 3 hours, whatever, and we go down there and show our support to the Wanamingo Fire Department because they are mutual aid with us, and we do interact with them a lot, and Randolph also too. We have an annual street dance, which is always the last Saturday in July, so everybody put it on their calendars. Bring in a band and have some entertainment and stuff, and just have a good night and do a little fundraiser. Fire Prevention Week is always in October. We go to the schools with the trucks and equipment, and we let the kids go through the trucks just to see what's there. They get pretty amazed going up the cab and sitting at the steering wheel. And we actually put a skid on inside where all the kids will come to the community room, and we'll do a little skit as far as drop and roll, if you're on fire and stuff, and how to stay low if you get into a fire scene and the smoke's coming down, stay low and go. The guys do a good job with that. Thursday night bingo is a good fundraiser for us. The place is packed. Good night to come down if you want to play some bingo. The St. Pius Church event we went to last year, and we just brought a truck up once just to get the kids familiar with squirting a little water and stuff, and just to have a good time with it. I think it was their fall festival they went up and did this on. Each fireman is required to have 24 hours of continuing training each year. Just an example of some of the things we do during the year. We have to do the CPR refresher because we go on medical calls, so that everybody's fluent with doing the CPR. Hazardous material refresher, we're required to do that every year. It's a 2 or 3 hour course where they basically bring in the books. We bring the books out, we find the materials that could be in an accident, go through the books so we're familiar with the books again, just to refresh our memory on it. So if we come in contact with some hazardous chemicals, we know what to do. Ladder truck training, of course, we don't use it a lot, so we have to train on it a lot because there's a lot of different things to operate on that truck. So every month we go out and train with it at the last Thursday of the month. Just raise it up and down, squirt some water, whatever we gotta do to keep everybody familiar with it if we get in a fire scene. Grain bin rescue, we actually have some rescue pods that go in grain bins, and it's 3 sections of a round circle. So if somebody's trapped down in a bin full of grain, they've got sucked down a little bit, you actually put these tunnels down beside them and work the grain back out, take the pressure off their bodies so they don't suffocate. We purchased those a few years ago, and we've actually used it in training and stuff to kind of buried somebody a little bit, not a lot. Not so it hurt them, but and got it out. Unfortunately, it does happen, so us and surrounding firefighters are trained in it. SCBA training, that's self-contained breathing apparatuses that we wear if we go into a fire. It's the tank that's on our back and the harness and the mask that we wear to go into fires. So periodically, you got to put them on and use them so that you know they work when you need them, basically. So we go through that training at least a couple times a year, run a few tanks full, and just make sure everything's working well. MOX incident training, I think Tim mentioned it in his also. We get together with the ambulance and the police and Mayo One and stuff and put on that mock crash up at the high school for the kids in proms. Contamination training for Prairie Island. 2 years ago, we were selected as a decontamination facility for Prairie Island if they should have a release. There's 2 other facilities that are associated with it. Red Wing is one, Hastings is another, and we were the 3rd one on line. We have to go through a training of actually running vehicles through and decontaminating them and bringing them back out, and people. They've given us all the equipment and everything else we need to do this, and we train on it twice a year. We actually have the big feds and stuff come down and certify us on it. So it's something that they've added to it. It depends upon which direction the wind's going if they have a release. If it's coming our way, they will not come and decontaminate here. They'll go to Red Wing or Hastings, and vice versa, whichever way the wind direction or which is in the affected areas. It's never happened yet, but hopefully it never will. But the way the training and stuff is not as bad as you think it would be with the training and stuff. So we do water rescue training with the ambulance. We'll simulate a situation out on the water and take the boat out and actually rescue somebody out of the water. We do hose testing every year where we take every bit of hose off all the trucks and everything else and run them up to a certain pressure. Make sure that there's no leaks and stuff on them. It's required for us to do that. Rope and rescue training. A bunch of the guys went and got certified in ropes and rappelling, basically. They gave a instructor 1 and 2 class so that they could learn how to rappel, and there's probably, if I remember right, there's like 10 guys that do know how to go out and do this. So it's been a big benefit. We had a couple incidences out at the dam where some people had gotten down in the area down below the dam and couldn't get back out, so we did have to go in and rescue them back out of there. Ice water rescue is something we started a few years ago, just in case there's ice fisher people that go out there and happen to go through in thin ice. We've gained the equipment and stuff. We have a couple of these wetsuits, and along with the county, they have wetsuits also. They'll come and assist us if we need more than 2 or 3 people in the water. It's a very, very easy thing to do, basically, once you get onto it and been trained on it. You can walk a person right out of there in no time at all. A couple months ago, we started a Facebook page. It's monitored by 2 of us in the department. And this is to get basically community events out to the public, along with promoting the fire department and their activities. Other departments look on the website, if there's something going on, we got a dance or something going on, they'll look on there and say, hey, where's your website? You know, when's the activity going on and stuff. So we did start this year, and like I say, it's monitored by 2 of us. 2 of us can only put things on it, and we monitored it pretty closely. And there's been a lot of people looking at it. As you can see, I think there's 139 hits on it already. I think we're well over 500-600 actually, but it's been a good addition to show the community and stuff what we've got and what we do, and to bring them in and get them involved in different areas. In 2017, we will be celebrating our 125th anniversary as a fire department. The first of the year now, we're going to set up a committee to start planning for that event. We'd like to put on a really nice activity. I think they did it for the 100 year and 120th year. So we're going to try to put on some kind of event, figure out some things to do. Put it on summer of 2017. The last few years, we've been real fortunate. We've had Jeremy Mao writing our grants for us. He's actually got us new turnout gear for the whole department, 30 guys. SCBAs and stuff, we replaced all of our SCBAs in a grant. And county-wide, he wrote a grant for the 800 megahertz radios. So we've been real fortunate. It's been stuff that's getting outdated, so it needed to be replaced, so we were actually one of the recipients of it because of that. Our turnout gear has to be replaced every 10 years, and we were just on 11 years, so they went along with it. Along with that grant, I think we have to match 10%, so it's very minimal on what the total cost of it is. So it's been working out great. Unfortunately, the trucks and stuff do not fall under grant applications, so we put this up in 2017. We're going to start getting bids and stuff on a rescue truck and find out where we're at as far as costs in it, and kind of work with you guys and go from there. So it is coming up. Unfortunately, they got to be replaced. It's left us high and drive a couple times though, so it's time to start looking at it. So, any questions?
I don't have any. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the input on, because a lot of people probably don't know exactly what all you do, and besides, you know, driving in the parade and
Great.
putting out
Unless you have an
fires.
incident at your house or whatever, you really don't know, so,
Yep.
yeah. Okay,
Thanks a lot.
do I just pull this out, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll come take it down, Michael, be about to set his up.
Then we have one more presentation tonight from Cable, and Mike Gesme's supposed to be coming out to do that.
There you go. You bet, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you. Good night.
All right. I got one notification that my computer is about to restart for updates, so hopefully you make it through here. Well, we've been talking the last couple of years about franchise renewal quite a bit and funding of our program and all of those things, but so tonight I just kind of wanted to take a step back and talk about just in general what we do with the cable department and what we're in charge of and kind of how we do it. We also kind of go by the name Cannon Falls Community Television. So the cable department for the city does two primary things. The majority of our work is with the PEG Access TV channel and everything that goes along with that. Production, editing, scheduling the channel, managing staff and volunteers, everything that goes into operating a TV channel and a YouTube site. And then the other thing we do is we assist administration with the administration of the cable franchise agreement. That's what we're negotiating right now with Mediacom. So pretty much what that means is that if there's a customer that's having an issue, Ron and I can escalate that to Mediacom. But over the last few years that we've been doing in this process of franchise negotiation, a lot of my job has been doing some of the legwork and research that was needed for the renewal process. So I just kind of wanted to briefly go through some of the programs that we have on our channel. Obviously, we have city council meetings and planning commission meetings. Those are all broadcast live. We do our school board meetings, and those are broadcast on a delay. Sports has always been a big part of our programming ever since we've had our station, which, by the way, has been since right around 1980. We've had our channel, local Channel 12, ever since cable's been in town here in Cannon Falls. And because it has such a history, being so tightly affiliated with the school, sports has always kind of been a big part of our programming. And when it's not on, we tend to hear about it if we're having a technical glitch or anything like that. So these are all broadcast live at this point, football games, baseball games, and basketball games. We also regularly cover meetings in town. Triad is one of the things that we do every month. They bring in speakers every month, and we get those on the air. Community events is another big category. So we do the parades that happen every year, the 4th of July parade, the holiday parade, and the Memorial Day parade. And Memorial Day ceremony, Cannon Falls graduation ceremony, and then anything special that might be going on in town. Lately, we've had the murals celebrations, and then we did a lot of videos on the new library that came to town, or the new hospital as well. Some other community events that we've had here. We do a lot of speakers. Another event that we do is Adventures in Learning by the Shepherd Center. We have a couple programs that we've added in the last couple of years that we're pretty proud of because they have a little bit better production value to them. One of these is a series that we call Our Story, and this is a program that we've done in partnership with the Cannon Falls Historical Society, and it's just kind of an interview format show where we talk to people who have some history with Cannon Falls or have been around a long time or have some special piece of Cannon Falls history, and we just discuss with them their lives and their history and their experiences. And it's kind of it's really great programming for us. We've gotten a lot of good feedback, and it really works out well for the Historical Society as well because they're fulfilling their mission by capturing some of this history so we can archive that video as well. Besides history, we also do current events. So the other program that we've started is a show called Talk of the Town with Rod Johnson, and this is when we talk to people who have something going on currently. So just newsmakers, we try to talk to them and get them out in a timely fashion. So I mentioned our station is a PEG Access station. That stands for Public Education and Government Access. So all of our programs are tied to that. PEG Access is regulated by the federal government, and there's kind of implemented by our franchise agreement with Mediacom. We broadcast locally on the local cable channel 12, so it's on Mediacom only. And for anybody that doesn't have cable or just wants access to our programming at any time, they can access our YouTube channel. Almost all of our videos are up on YouTube, youtube.com/CannonFallsTV. We do all of this with a staff of a coordinator, which is me, and then we have 2 student technicians who do a lot of the filming work. And then this would not be nearly as possible. This would not be possible how much we're doing right now if it weren't for our volunteers that we have. Specifically Dick Mensing, who's done a ton of work. Our on-air talent, such as Jim Pagel, who's done the basketball games for many, many years. Rod Johnson, who's hosting our shows. And the Cannon Falls Historical Society, who does a lot of the legwork in planning a lot of these video shoots so that we can just show up with our equipment and get these things on the air. So that's been something that's fairly new as far in terms of the people volunteering to do the technical work. That's been a kind of a new thing over the last several years. And if there's people out there that want to get involved, please let me know. We provide training, and we're excited to have more people involved in what we're doing. So why do we do all of this? To me, it's about inform, connect, and promote Cannon Falls. We see this as, our programming connecting the community. We're providing hyper-local coverage, so we're covering, for the most part, only Cannon Falls. And of course, we're reaching people who can't attend these events in person for any number of reasons, whether they're homebound or just not able to make it to these events in person. And then also just archiving these events and preserving them for our history. Of course, the government access piece that we do also helps with government transparency and helps people participate in their local government as well. And hopefully everything we're doing is helping to promote Cannon Falls, especially when we're getting it out on our website and on YouTube. Some of the challenges that we have, the big one is technology. Technology obviously changes with the times, and it's no secret that we're tied to kind of the funding from the cable company, and cable subscriptions are dwindling every year, going down and down. So technology provides a challenge in that regard, but it's also a huge opportunity because with technology and the internet now, we can reach a much wider audience and really serve all the citizens of Cannon Falls and promote the Cannon Falls community. Regulation is another challenge. Obviously, with our local franchise, that's something that we have to pay attention to every 10 years or so. And there's also a potential looming threat that at some point in the, maybe not super near future, but at some point in the future, cities could lose their local franchising authority to a statewide franchising system. So we might lose some control that way. And then obviously a challenge is always funding. We've been talking about that with our franchise renewal. Our funding is tied to cable TV revenue, and that's where all of our funding currently comes from now. So, kind of as we look to the future over the next 10 years, we maybe need to entertain some different revenue streams to kind of help us be able to continue doing the level of service that we've been providing currently. So our goals, is just kind of looking ahead to 2016. First and foremost, we want to finish our franchise renewal and get that renewed. The Cable Commission will want to look at doing some strategic planning really for the next 10 years, just because that's kind of how our funding cycle works. We'll want to see where we want to be for 10 years from now. Immediately, we will want to look at upgrading our system to high definition to make sure that we're up to date with technology. And then finally, I'm looking to improve our website and online presence so that our content is easier to find and search and use for people. So that's kind of where we're at.
Any questions for Mike?
When do you anticipate our negotiations with MediaCom being done?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I don't know. I kind of thought it would be done in May. The Cable Commission has been emailing. We're trying to get together. I'm hoping next week, but we'll see. The Cable Commission is trying to get together to kind of evaluate MediaCom's latest offer and decide how we want to proceed. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you. We're still down to just the one issue of funding, and as soon as we resolve that, we'll have something that the city council can consider, so.
Thanks, Mike. Good job. Is that all of them?
That's all. So we've been doing this now over the last about 4 meetings, and I'd be interested in your feedback on pluses, minuses, whatever, for continuing it in the future, or maybe every other year or something, but not right now. But another, if you want to send me some feedback on those presentations, I think it's really helpful for, I think even for me to learn a little more about what's going on, what they do.
Thanks. All right, with that, we'll move on to reports. Mr. Maroney.
Just say on December 4th and 5th that with the support of the Economic Development Authority, we and 5 other Cannon Falls local businesses were able to participate in the Feast Festival and Trade Show at the Mayo Civic Center in Rochester. And I think we brought a lot of attention to the city of Cannon Falls, both in terms of a community as well as what this community is doing in local foods. And it was a lot of good exposure for us, and I think all 5 of our businesses that attended with us were really happy with the results. Had several thousand people coming through the Civic Center on Saturday, tasting foods from well over 100 different vendors from the area. So it was all good, and I'm sure we'll look forward to the festival next year as well.
Tom?
I have nothing.
Chief?
Well, we are rapidly approaching Christmas, followed by New Year's. There'll be lots of people traveling. Just want to remind people to drive safely. Also, Towards Zero Death, which is a nationwide program, we're in group with other Goodhue law enforcement. We'll be having enforcement waves. Focus this time of year is always on impaired drivers. So if you're going to be out inviting the holidays with alcohol, please make arrangements and have somebody else drive you. Take advantage, if you're locally, of our cab service. And if you're going to be mixing drugs with alcohol, just don't do it. There's a lot of reactions that occur just with prescription medication and alcohol. For law enforcement, unfortunately, we're seeing much more impairment with drugs than we used to. It's just a sign of the times. So the officers are trained in it. We've got a DRE in-house, as well as can use other ones, DRE or drug recognition experts. Other DREs from around the area if we encounter those circumstances. So ideally, I would hope that we don't have to arrest anybody for impaired driving, but unfortunately, I suspect we probably will end up doing that. But again, for those that are just traveling, be prepared, watch the weather, give yourself extra time if the weather's going to be nasty. That's all I have.
Ron?
Just a couple of notes. First, I want to thank my staff, council, for a year. It was a good year. We got a lot of stuff done. Fairly productive year. And next year, we'll be a little bit busy with, even though it's not in corporate limits, the interchange at 86 and 52, the county's project with extension of 24, the street project on the west side, 3 whatever million it is. It's going to be a little bit busy a year, but looking forward to it, and thank you.
Earl?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe.
Rod?
Same.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve again, and I'm looking forward to 2016.
I just want to thank all the council members that have been patient with me and the staff, answering questions, many questions, to help me learn.
Happy holidays, thanks.
Happy holidays.
I've got one thing. I was speaking with Commissioner Anderson, and just want me to reiterate the county board's vote on the garbage going to Red Wing. It's just one step. Not all the garbage is being required to go there at this time. you know, it's a big piece of, like I said in the paper, of a more complex issue that that the county needs to get taken care of. So not all the garbage is required to go to Red Wing at this time. And the other thing is, some of it may already be going there and you don't even know it. So we will move forward with that in the future. I'd just like to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and be safe, and look forward to serving the great city of Cannon Falls for another year. With that, the mayor will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.